Good morning, dear colleagues. It is my great pleasure to participate in this conference as a keynote speaker. Thank you for the invitation. Special thanks to Dr. Hurash Ahmadnia. My name is Milica Maksić Mulalić, and I come from the Institute of Urban Planning, City of Niš in Serbia. My speech connects two themes, urban planning and brownfields. Are planning policies for brownfield sites properly defined? Does the planning process allow for efficient brownfield regeneration? Serbian cities do not usually include the theme of brownfields in their planning policies. I will present here the case of the city of Niš, which included the theme of brownfields. I believe that the recommendations of the Niš case study can be applied internationally. There is a wide range of definition of brownfields. American and Canadian authors connect brownfields with contaminated sites, while in European countries, definition of brownfields varies from country to country. Developed countries have long-term experience with the problems of brownfields, while acceptance of brownfields in post-socialist countries was delayed by approximately 30 years. There are no unique key factors in successful brownfield regeneration. Many studies have pointed out the need for collaboration among different actors. Planning instruments can be divided into classical instruments of urban planning and informal practices. The system of planning documents in Serbia is defined by the law on planning and construction. The law divides plans into spatial and urban plans. This is the spatial plan of the Republic of Serbia, the plan for the whole territory of the country. This plan from 2010 is the first plan in the history of Serbia that recognized the term brownfield. The regional spatial plans, the plans for the middle level of spatial organization, include the theme of brownfields. The spatial plan of the administrative area of the city of Niš, the plan for 5 municipalities, and general urban plan, the plan for the urban area, outline significance of brownfield investments, list brownfield sites, but they both lack more detailed analysis of individual locations, their surfaces, and specific mechanisms for regeneration. Many institutions in the city of Niš are included in the planning process, but there is no specific institution in charge of brownfield regeneration. In the next part, I will present the planning process of 2 brownfield sites in Niš, the electronics industry and the Jastrebac factory. These sites belong to the industrial brownfields, which were social enterprises restructured over the course of time. Both are located on the outskirts of the city on the main traffic routes. This is the Jastrebac factory within General Regulation Plan. Within the catchment area of the plan, the Jastrebac factory complex was only one of its parts, 2.5% elaborated by the plan. The plan, besides the Jastrebac factory, contained other industrial and business zones and housing zones. Therefore, uses of space, construction rules, and infrastructure equipment were given at the level of zones, not specifically for brownfield site. In the plan, the roads in the Jastrebac factory were not defined as public surfaces, and the owners of complexes were left to regulate traffic networks by mutual contract. This did not prove to be a good approach. The urban plan did not determine areas for public functions, public greenery, nor it directed specific attention to cultural heritage. No specific institution was in charge of actors' coordination. There was no association of private companies to unite all the enterprises and present their interests. All private actors acted individually with partial information, often with mutually confronted attitudes. There was no inclusion of civil sector actors in the process of plan preparation. The elaboration of brownfields in other general regulation plans was similar to the case of Jastrebac's factory, with the same problems. The case of the electronics industry will be presented here as a positive example in brownfield site planning, whose planning process differed from the planning for other brownfield sites in a niche. Since 2000, when the process of privatization started, there were numerous problems in the functioning of the complex, mostly related to traffic and infrastructure. In 2013, the city of Niš joined the international project, within which experts share their knowledge in brownfield regeneration. Two documents were prepared, the location registry and the previous feasibility study. In 2014, the detailed regulation plan for the complex of the Niš electronics industry was prepared. Within the complex, main roads were defined as public. The reconstruction of infrastructure network was planned within the roads as public. Unlike the Jastrebac factory, the planning process for the electronics industry was marked by good coordination of all actors. As the city of Niš was very interested in activating this site, the mayor's office was in charge of the following plan preparation. The entire process was supported by the international organization GIS Ambero Icon Consulting Group, whose experts share their knowledge in the planning process to improve the plan. The association Medianum, which represented the interests of businesses from the complex, actively followed the whole planning process. On the other hand, the lack of civil sector involvement marked the process of plan preparation. The detailed regulation plan particularly valorized cultural heritage and promoted archaeological findings and industrial heritage objects. The central part of the complex was defined as an industrial heritage protection zone. The plan especially considered public functions, designated areas for green space, school, and infirmary. These are recommendations for future planning practices. There is a need for preparation of a planning document which elaborates in detail brownfield location. The plan should be prepared specifically for the brownfield site with details rules of construction. The preparation of location registry and the previous feasibility study before preparing the urban plan is recommended. Defining certain areas as public functions and greenery within the complex and promotion of archaeological and industrial heritage as tourist potential increase the quality of urban plan for brownfield site. By mutual cooperation of enterprises in brownfield regeneration, better results can be achieved. Ways for civil sector engagement should be found. A specific institution in charge of brownfields at a local level could improve the process of regeneration. The inclusion of international organizations should be supported in future in order to gain international experience in the brownfield regeneration process. Thank you for your attention.